Here's a quick video on the most important part of mental preparation before a match, or practice really, but specifically matches. So I advise our wrestlers 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. So 30 minutes before your match, maybe a little bit sooner, but generally 30 minutes. You get up, you start maybe go do some sprints, you stretch out a little bit. If you can get on a wrestling mat and drill, do that. It's difficult. Sometimes the high school dual meets, sometimes there's a warm-up mat, tournaments, but for the youth level, it can be difficult. But if you can get on a mat, that's also a pretty good thing. So 30 minutes, start getting your body warmed up. You might think about your game plan a little bit, take some deep breaths, breathe in confidence and excitement about the big battle and the big match that's on the horizon. Breathe out stress and anxiety, and you actively feel your skin tingle. You feel the nerves and anxiety leave. You breathe in the energy and the confident body language. Then about 20 minutes before the match, you start approaching the gymnasium area where you're going to be at and being called to the mat. And at this point in time, you address your body language and you think about the game plan for the match, depending upon whether or not you know your opponent. But usually we know our opponent or have some ideas, right? And if you don't, you can just kind of size them up. If you can get an eyeball on them, a short, little, thick, powerful kid. Generally speaking, I felt like I could ride them really well and tilt them. Tall, skinny guys, I figure I could eat them up with a low single leg. I mean, you might have different ideas. So sometimes just sizing them up a little bit can kind of just give you some ideas of how I'm going to start this match. If you don't know who they are, but generally you have an idea and you have a game plan going into the match, right? Maybe they run a spiral ride on top and they kind of like transition to a cradle ride position. So, we're going to, chin up. I got a knee slide in a circle. I got to put this guy behind me. And, a spiral ride's somewhat easy to stop, right? So I might even drill a few of those. I don't know, we call it a rough, loose game plan. Rough and loose because I don't write a script for how the match is going to go. I just kind of have some ideas. Okay, I know when this guy goes out of bounds, he generally comes back in fresh, shoots on the whistle, catches a lot of guys on their heels. So, my thing is I got to make sure my head's always 3 inches lower than my opponent's, especially anytime we're on the reset. Maybe I'm just throwing some ideas out there, right? So 30 minutes, 20 minutes, you start thinking about your game plan. You're approaching the venue. You're down close to the mats. And about the 10-minute mark, and this could be moved up, right? So let's say the 10-minute mark, I start to really force myself to think about aggressive thoughts. Obviously, if the guy on the mat, I'm in the hole, someone gets pinned, hey, I'm on deck now, so that 10 minutes is not there. It's going to be 6 minutes or less maybe. But generally about 10 minutes before the match, you don't want to get really psyched up and energized too soon because it's just too soon, right? So I think about winning, think about scoring, think about fighting, think about the battle that's going to happen. Think about even the kind of auxiliary things, like the crowd's going to be cheering for me, and maybe it's a home dual meeting, and I'm the crowd favorite, and I got the crowd here, and I want to put on a show for the crowd, and my parents are nervous about the match, and I'm going to light this guy up, and I'm going to make my opponent's crowd silent. So even some combative, abrasive thoughts, but mostly think about fighting and scoring and scoring on the edge and getting to and turning this guy on his back and underhooking him, throwing him out of bounds and snapping him, and how slick and fast you are, and how you're going to bring a lot of energy and performance, and you start just flooding your mind. We call it flooding our mind, right? I flood my mind. So if I had a coffee cup here, or a cup, and there was, I don't know, old water or something, soda, I don't know. I don't drink soda, but you get the idea. And you flush that cup out with just cold water. You can flush out all the bad water, and that will be a fresh cup of water here in no time. So it is a flooding and flushing out. And I'm trying to Any negative thoughts I have, I'm just going to flush those out, because I'm going to dump in so many thoughts of winning and success and scoring and being great and accomplishing my goals and being famous and putting my name on the map, and and I pace around and I think about this, you know, uh, especially 2-3 minutes before the match, then a couple deep breaths and calm down slightly. Generally, it's proven on a scale of 7 to 8, from 1 to 10 on a scale of 7 to 8. That's the excitability state that most of us have to be in. Maybe a power lifter can be, angry at a level 10, because their sport's different. We're kind of like a quarterback, right? So we're different. So if you go out there underexcited, you're going to have a hard time going up. I would rather be overexcited and bring it down a notch. It's just way better. But it's active. You almost got to set your watch and say, okay, now's the time to flood my mind with thoughts of greatness and success. And I mean, you get the idea. Don't passively sort of allow these thoughts to enter your mind and allow the readiness, because the energy of the event may affect you in a way that you don't like. So you have to be very conscious, like, okay, now it's time to get amped up and ramped up and ready to put on a show and fight and claw and dig and bang and score points and be tough and mean and get my hand raised and walk off the mat and get into this finals of this tournament or whatever. Music, some of us like music. Okay, I think it's a very good tool. The Olympic athletes, a lot of them use music. So, if you're into the music side of it, probably at that 20-minute mark, probably 6-7 minutes before the match, 5 minutes before the match, you might want to take that off and start to listen to the whistles and kind of get sort of connected to your environment. So I probably wouldn't wear the music up until the match, but maybe the 20-minute mark is kind of a good thing. So music is a good tool too, and I knew a lot of famous athletes who utilize music. So that's something else that you can do. Good luck, and we hope you guys have big success.